Hello, everybody. You may notice I'm in a very different format from the last episode. This is nothing new for me. I've changed format even in my other series before. The reasoning for this time is the camera quality was not quite up to snuff. It wasn't exactly what I wanted, and I don't got the money for an actual camera or a better setup at the moment. However, I do got a decent computer and a decent mic and a way of drawing. So, I've figured out how to do all this. I've now got my old avatar. I used to use this back when I did my reviews. Now I'm using it for this, and I even updated it to have a little bit more life to it. I can now switch between these at will. These are all done in the software program. It's done in OBS to be specific. I open the mouth when I talk. It's pretty cool. Pretty neat. So, episode 2 of Sailor Moon. That's what we're here to talk about, so I won't dwell much longer on that. Episode 2 really has things start getting set into motion for the formula. This is a very not relevant plot to the overall arc of the show. It's what one would call a filler episode. Now, I want to get one thing clear here. I actually do not have any issue with filler episodes. I think they're fine. Oftentimes, they can just be fun little romps through these characters' lives. I quite enjoy a few of the filler episodes in Sailor Moon. In fact, some of them are my favorite episodes, because I just thoroughly enjoy these characters. This episode, however, is not one of my favorites. It's, quite frankly, it makes me a little uncomfortable in a lot of scenes, and I'll get into that, for a bit. However, let's start with the plot of this episode. So this one is focused on a fortune teller. They give out, fortune cards, and these cards, corrupt whoever takes them into misbehaving. Particularly in this episode, Umino. It makes him attack the teacher, it makes him harass people. It just makes him overall a not good boy, which is not great for a character that I already am not a huge fan of. I already do not care that much about Umino. He is a very nothing guy. He has some cute moments later in the series, but early season Umino is just not great. And this is his worst appearance by far. Let's just get this out of the way. Umino is uncomfortable. There is a scene in this one where he flips up the teacher's skirt, and I don't like it. It's very ick for me. He also has a scene, he tries to force Usagi to kiss him. It's like, I don't like that. That's not good. Please don't do that again, Umino. And it's just, he's just such a jerk throughout this entire episode. It's not horrible. It's not the worst I've ever seen. He pales in comparison to someone like Mineta from My Hero Academia. But that doesn't make him good. He's still very obnoxious in this, and I don't like it. With that said, he does somewhat redeem himself at the end. When he gets out of the mind control, because he's mind controlled when he's doing this, but when he's out of the mind control, he's very apologetic, he feels bad, and that's the main reason I don't despise Umino, because when he screws up majorly in this episode, he apologizes, and you do understand, you do believe that he feels bad for what he did. This episode is carried by some really solid scenes. Particularly, Naru's a lot of fun in this one. I actually really like some of her scenes of teasing Umino. I do think she went a bit too far sometimes, but, that's just kind of what friends do sometimes. The video game joke that they make early on is actually quite funny. I really, really like that one. Umino basically makes this freaking video game that tells his fortune. It tells him he's gonna marry Usagi, what a that's a friggin' prophecy you wrote yourself there, buddy. It's if I freaking oh, I like this girl. I'm gonna tell my fortune. Oh, I think I'm gonna get with her. That's great. But outside of that, it is a very aggressively mediocre episode. It's definitely not one I'm a huge fan on. It's just uncomfortable for a good chunk of it, and there's a lot worse you could do, like I said. In fact, it's not even the worst episode of Sailor Moon, but I still think it's alright. A solid 6.5 episode. It ranks number 2 right now because it's the second episode. It's not bad, just not great. Bagged down by some uncomfortable scenes, but hey, at least it's not Mineta. And at the end of the day, isn't that all that mattered? So you may see this one's a bit of a shorter one. This isn't an episode that has a ton to talk about, and in these kind of episodes, I'm not going to force myself to go particularly long on. So, yeah. Some of these episodes are going to be fairly short, just because some of the filler episodes I do not have much to say on. The major episodes will get longer ones, obviously, and eventually I'll get into some scripted content. But with that said, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.